Has anyone ever wondered about the curse rumored to plague the old Wharton mansion? This grand estate, nestled within the heart of the city, has a history as rich and dark as the soil it's built upon. For generations it belonged to the Wharton family, but as the years passed, the once glorious mansion fell into a state of disrepair, much like the family's dwindling fortune. Then came the day when the mansion's current owner, Mr. Edward Wharton, was found lifeless in the library. His face was frozen in a tableau of horror, a sight so chilling it could curdle the blood in one's veins. The room was bathed in an eerie darkness, punctuated only by the flickering dance of candlelight. Poised on the windowsill, a black cat sat, its eyes glowing ominously in the dim light. The locals whispered of this feline, claiming it was a harbinger of death, its very presence amplifying the eerie atmosphere that permeated the mansion. Entered Detective James, a man of reason who dismissed talk of curses and superstitions as mere folly. He was a seasoned investigator, known for his sharp mind and keen instincts. James began his inquiry, interviewing the mansion's staff and the remaining Wharton family members. He soon discovered that the late Mr. Wharton had been on a relentless quest for a legendary treasure, rumored to be hidden within the estate. Some whispered that the curse of the Black Cat protected this treasure, and any who dared to seek it would meet a horrifying end. As James dug deeper into the case, he unearthed a tangled web of deception. It seemed everyone had a reason to wish Mr. Wharton harm. His wife stood to inherit his wealth, his business partner needed to salvage their failing company, and even the seemingly loyal butler had secrets to hide. Yet the more he investigated, the more James felt an unsettling certainty that there was something else at play. Despite his skepticism, the notion of the Black Cat's curse began to gnaw at his rational mind. Detective James, a man of facts and logic, was about to delve into a mystery that seemed to defy both. James began his investigation, stepping into a web of secrets and deceit. As he navigated the dimly lit corridors of the Wharton mansion, he couldn't help but feel a chill run down his spine. The whispers of the staff and the hushed tones of the remaining Wharton family members echoed through the grand halls, each voice carrying a tale of its own. First, he met Mrs. Wharton, the grieving widow, a woman of elegance and grace. She was set to inherit the vast fortune her husband had left behind, yet her eyes held a certain coldness, as if she were hiding something beneath her veiled grief. Next was Mr. Wharton's business partner. A man of ambition and desperation, his company was on the brink of collapse. Mr. Wharton's death could provide the financial reprieve he so desperately needed. And then, there was the butler. A man of loyalty and discretion, he had served the Wharton family for decades, yet the air around him was heavy with a secret, one he was reluctant to share. As James delved into their stories, he learned about Mr. Wharton's obsession with a legendary treasure rumored to be hidden within the estate. A treasure protected, they said, by the curse of a black cat. Each family member and staff whispered about the eerie feline, its glowing eyes a harbinger of doom. The cat, they believed, was the guardian of the treasure, and anyone who dared to seek it met a gruesome end. As the pieces of the puzzle started coming together, James found himself entangled in a web of lies and deceit. Yet he couldn't shake off the unsettling feeling that the curse of the Black Cat was more than just a tale. The whispers of the staff, the fearful glances of the family, the cold dread in the air, everything pointed toward something dark and sinister. But the deeper James dug, the more he felt an unsettling connection between the murder and the curse. Something was amiss, and he was determined to uncover the truth, no matter how chilling it might be. One night, a hidden passage led James to a chilling discovery. Like a moth drawn to a flame, James found himself navigating the labyrinthine corridors of the Wharton mansion, his curiosity piqued by whispers of a legendary treasure. The echoes of his footfalls were his only companions in the desolate hallways, until he stumbled upon a concealed entrance that ushered him into a room shrouded in time. The hidden chamber was a sanctuary of forgotten memories, an echo of the Wharton family's bygone opulence. Amidst the dust and decay, an object glittered enticingly, a beacon shining through the gloom. It was the legendary treasure Mr. Wharton had spent his last days seeking. The sight of it made James's heart pound with a mix of trepidation and exhilaration. The treasure was real, and so, perhaps, was the curse. No sooner had this thought crossed his mind than he felt a presence in the room. A pair of glowing eyes emerged from the shadows, their gaze fixed on him with an almost human-like malice. It was the Black Cat, the harbinger of death, its stare as piercing as the cold wind that swept through the chamber. As James reached out to touch the treasure, a sharp pain seized his chest. It was as if an invisible hand had reached into his body, squeezing his heart with an unyielding grip. He staggered back, his breath coming in gasps as the room spun around him. The cat's eyes seemed to glow brighter, its gaze never wavering. The curse had claimed another victim, he thought, his vision blurring. But as he collapsed to the cold stone floor, a spark of determination ignited within him. He was Detective James, not some character in a superstitious tale. He refused to be the curse's next casualty. Summoning his last bit of strength, he dragged himself out of the chamber, leaving the treasure and the malevolent cat behind. He managed to call for help before darkness claimed him. The fight was not over yet. He had a curse to break, a murderer to catch, and he was not ready to give in. The curse had claimed another victim, but James was not ready to be its next casualty. James, the survivor, returned to the mansion with a determined heart. He was a changed man, no longer the skeptic who had first set foot in the Wharton mansion. He had looked into the eyes of the curse and lived to tell the tale. His brush with death had only strengthened his resolve to break the curse that had cast a shadow over the Wharton estate for generations. He found himself in the library once again, the very room where the mystery had begun. The flickering candlelight cast long, dancing shadows against the walls, and the air was heavy with anticipation. James was not alone. The black cat was there, watching him from the windowsill. Its eyes glowed in the dim light, a silent challenge in its gaze. James met the cat's stare unflinchingly, his heart pounding in his chest. He had come prepared, armed with knowledge and determination. He knew that the cat was the key to breaking the curse, and he was ready to face it head-on. With a swift motion, he reached out and captured the cat. There was a moment of struggle, a flash of fur and claws, but James held on. He could feel the power of the curse pulsating from the creature, but he didn't let it intimidate him. He banished the cat from the mansion, breaking the curse once and for all. As he released the cat, James felt a wave of relief wash over him. The mansion seemed to breathe a sigh of relief too. The eerie atmosphere lifted, replaced by a sense of tranquility. The cat disappeared into the night, its reign of terror over. The Wharton mansion was finally at peace, and James had solved a case that would be remembered for generations. The curse of the black cat was no more. James had not only survived the curse but had managed to break it, proving that even the most powerful superstitions can be overcome by courage and determination. With the curse broken, James left the mansion, carrying with him a story that would defy belief. He had walked into the Wharton mansion as a skeptic, a man of logic and reason, but he walked out with a newfound respect for the unexplainable. The black cat, the symbol of doom, had brought him face to face with his own mortality, and yet he had emerged victorious. The resolution of the case was not as simple as pointing a finger at a guilty party. It was a journey into the depths of deceit, greed, and an ancient curse. The mansion's dark secrets had been unveiled, and with it, the true nature of those who lived within its walls. The wife, the business partner, the butler, each had their own motives, their own secrets, but it was the curse that was the real perpetrator. James's triumph over the curse was not just a victory over a supernatural entity, but a triumph over his own disbelief. He had dared to venture into the realm of the unknown, to challenge the whispers of the locals, and to confront the curse head-on. His encounter with the black cat, the harbinger of death, left a profound impact on him. It was a testament to the fact that there are things in this world that defy logic and reason, things that lurk in the shadows, waiting for their moment to strike. The Wharton mansion, once a house of fear and death, was now a symbol of hope. It stood as a testament to the power of truth and the courage to confront the unknown. This case was a turning point for James. It challenged his perception of the world, forcing him to acknowledge the existence of the supernatural. He left the mansion not just as a detective but as a man who had seen the face of the unexplainable and lived to tell the tale. This case reaffirmed that sometimes the line between reality and superstition is not as clear as we might think. The curse of the Wharton mansion was put to rest, and so was the mystery that had haunted it for generations.